Nope.
Alright, so this wasn't the video I planned on making today. I actually planned on doing a crystal gecko care video because someone asked for it specifically. But we're going to be talking about snows and genetics, and it's going to get really complicated and convoluted and lots of stuff to explain, so let's hop right into it. This is Malloy, my normal leopard gecko. I bought him at a PetSmart 4 or 5 years ago. It was my second ever leopard gecko. The first one I managed to actually take care of and, treat well, my first reptile, if you will. And this is Righty. So if you see my channel, if you see my Instagram, you know that Righty is missing a hand. I bought her and another gecko, Lefty, like that. They're not related in any way, but they're both TUG snows, or at least that's what I thought. So Malloy was purchased as a normal, and she was purchased as a TUG snow from an actual breeder. I'm not going to mention any names for specific reasons, but a normal times of TUG snow should only produce normals and TUG snows, and those TUG snows only carry one copy of the gene. So let's say you bred a TUG snow to a TUG snow. There's a chance they carry 2 copies of the TUG snow gene, in which case it still just looks like a TUG snow. It just has 2 copies and it will always pass one on. Whereas in the case of a baby from a normal to a TUG snow, it can only have 1 copy, and then when that animal breeds, there's a 50% chance it'll pass on a normal gene and 50% chance it'll pass on a snow gene. So it's very complicated, Punnett squares and all that. But today, their eggs hatched, and a normal hatched out, which makes sense. And then this hatched out. And this is a super snow. And you can very easily tell the coloration. Super snows do have a crinkled little nose. I'm not good at telling that, but it's definitely a super snow. And it's definitely, an active little guy. It's probably, or girl, I should say. So super snows are definitely something I wanted to add to my collection, but it raises the question: why is there a super snow? So when there shouldn't be a super snow. When Lefty and Righty lay eggs, I pay attention to ovulation, I pay attention to eggs inside of them, and I write down who the parent is. This parent was Righty, which I'm pretty sure I got correct, and it was her. They both kind of look the same. They're both that light color, which is what TUG snows are. But that brings up the question, well then how did a super snow pop out? Well, the only way a super snow can pop out is if both parents at least carry 1 copy of the snow gene, of the Mack snow gene, which would make them which would make them each snow, because obviously they're not super snows. You'd be able to tell they wouldn't look like that. And real quick before I dive into super snows, Malloy's a little beat up. I've had him for a while. He accidentally got put in with another male at one point. That was 100% my fault, and he's still doing good. He's missing a couple of fingers and an eyelid, but still thick, still breeding, still doing awesome. So what does it mean to have a super snow pop out? That means Malloy, who is extremely black and yellow, has got some cool grayish markings on him. It has to be a Mack snow. There's no other way around it. And on top of that, Righty, who came from a TUG snow to a TUG snow. In fact, I don't remember the exact project, but she came from a TUG snow to TUG snow project. There might have been, Tremper. No, it was just TUG snow. It was like TUG snow to outcross, and she's just a TUG snow, which is crazy because she has to be a TUG snow and a Mack snow at that point. Because she has to have the snow gene. So that just brings up more and more questions at every corner, right? So that brings up, is this super snow carrying 2 copies of the Mack snow gene to make it a super snow and also a copy of TUG snow? Is it our Brighty has produced two what I call Tug Snow babies in the first clutch, and this was the second clutch with a normal and a Super Snow. So those two other babies that hatched out, are they, the two Tug Snows? Are they even Tug Snows? Are they Mack Snows? Are they a combination? So basically, this whole project is all screwy now. And then Molly also bred to Lefty, so Lefty had a couple Tug Snows babies. She's had, I think, 2 or 3 Tug Snow babies hatch out. Are those Tug Snows, or are they Mack Snows, or are they a combination? Because he's a Mack Snow now. Ergo, a very, very poor one. And he has to be, because Lefty and Righty have never seen another male. Especially, I would know. If it was like a Snow or something, I would know it's not. It's just him. So that brings up, the fact that this whole project is screwed. I just wanted normals and Tug Snows as babies, and basically what that would allow me to do is keep Tug Snows back and make it and separate it into Tug Snows and normals, and I could play with the normals a bunch. But now at this point, it's dirty with Mack Snow, so I don't want to sell this as a super Mack Snow, knowing that there's Tug Snow in it. I'm probably going to sell it as a super Mack Snow with possible Tug Snow, as accidents do happen. I'm sure people understand. No one's going to care. They're just going to want the Super Snow. And what I'll have to do is start all over. I've got normal babies that I know are definitely normals. At least they look like normals. He looks like a normal, so I guess who knows at this point. There's always the chance that he is a chimera, which I doubt, but I can kind of see why he would be. You can see a lot of underlaying gray patterns there. That would have me believe that if he was a chimera, which is, like I said, very unlikely, but I could see that happening with him just based on his coloration, and there's certain like a matte look to him that you see on a lot of chimeras. It's possible that there is a Mack Snow underneath, and you just it's hard to tell. I'm looking at a lot at the head where it's white. Very unlikely, but at the end of the day, a Super Snow popped out, which is only possible from Mack Snow to Mack Snow. So, like I said, project shot. I'm still, I'll be able to sell the babies. I'll just have to, explain to people what they are, market them as such, sell them as, don't sell them to people who want to breed them. It's just not a good idea. And hopefully, we get some more explanation as more babies hatch out, maybe a couple more Tug Snows hatch out, or Super Snows, I should say. And we'll know for sure that that's what happened, because otherwise, I don't really know. Alright, so these two are Righty's first eggs that hatched. They're both 2 Snows. I can already tell that one's a Tug Snow and that one's a Mack Snow. They might have both in them. It's really confusing at the time. Let's see what else. This one was the first. That baby hatched out today, and like I said, that Super Snow should not have happened. So I don't know. Alright, so I know that was really confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on jamesjeptiles@gmail.com. You'll definitely see pictures at James Jeptiles at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. All that definitely helps out. Like I said, the next video will probably be about crested gecko care. People have been asking about that. But that was just so crazy. I had to show and try to explain it to you guys. And, if you want to learn more and follow along, that'd be awesome. I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it. Hopefully at the end of this breeding season, we'll know a little bit more. And next year I'll definitely be breeding some different groups just to try to test it out and see what happens.